So it's Harmeet Singh, your host of Co-working Hub. So this week we're going to be talking to Rupinder, the first time that we're doing an interview, and it's for us to understand more about her background. And in future weeks, we'll be doing one-to-ones with our co-workers. We did have a private conversation earlier, and that was focused on the theme if COVID-19 wasn't to go away. So if you're looking to get involved with our conversations in the future, then do come on to the calls. So today, Rupinder, we've known each other for probably just under a year now. You're an interior designer. Let's hear about what do you specialize on? What do you focus on?
So, hi, my name is Rupinder, and I'm an interior designer based in Leicester. We specialize in cafe interiors, office interiors, and residential interiors. So, it's been a while that, especially from the time we've all been stuck at home, there's not much work that's being done. But that's what even I am working on and thinking on how can I shift my business online. But the more I think about it, I feel there are some aspects which cannot be done online in terms of designing. So yeah, that is something that I'm still thinking about.
Thank you very much. What I'm going to do is play the video.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm going to go on to present now so everyone else can see it. So my entire screen. Perfect stuff. I was hoping that our office would be on there as well. So
Had to
some
be
really
there.
good stuff there, some really great designs. I'm going to start off basically when you were younger. I mean, how would your mom describe you when you were young?
Uh, so yeah, so the thing that she used to tell about me is that I was very quiet and I did not interact and meet with many people. So she was really worried about me growing up, that how would I end up making friends in school and how would I do ahead in life, because I'm sort of very introvert like that. But yeah, I think I'm sort of learning it on the go, trying to one at a time, meeting people and speaking. Even when I met y'all, it was when Tasir approached, and then I was like, yes, okay, I'll talk to y'all. It wasn't very organic to me to start talking, but yeah, that is something I'm working on.
Oh, that's good. In terms of when you were younger, what did you want to do when you were at school?
So that is something very off the topic, but I wanted to be an astronaut. I don't know why. For some reason, while growing up, I was like, I want to be an astronaut. And probably when I grew up, I understood my capabilities and my knowledge, how much I can grasp of physics and maths and science. I realized probably I should put that aside. And yeah, I just moved on to design and architecture. So I did my architecture in India, and yeah, from there I've just stayed in this field.
Rupinder, you can still be an astronaut if you want.
I don't think I
Just
have qualifications.
No, the thing is, if you get a pilot's license, for example,
Okay.
or if you can do some research which can be relevant, so you can still be an astronaut, or if you have a lot of money, you can still be an astronaut.
Okay. I don't have a lot of money. That is what I'm working
In
on.
the future, yeah.
I was watching an interview by Elon Musk. So he's one of his plans is to get onto Mars.
Mhm.
If that happens, then maybe you can design something in Mars. I wanted to ask, at which point then did you know that you wanted to be an interior designer? Obviously, you're doing maths, physics. What was it that led you into interior design?
So I did my architecture for 5 years. And when I finished my architecture, I worked for a year and a half with an architect. And right after while I was working, I just realized I am more interested towards interior design rather than hardcore civil architecture. So that's how then I moved on to interior design.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you. And then when you started in interior design as a business, what were some of the initial challenges that you faced, and what did you do as a solution?
So the first challenge that I faced was that I did lack confidence while talking to people and while telling them what my company does, because I think at the back of my mind, even I hadn't narrowed it down to what is my USP as a company. So that was very difficult in the initial phase, trying to tell people what I do and also telling them in a way that they believe in me and my work. And also being a startup, I had no work like done before, so it was difficult for them to even rely on just me telling that, okay, I designed this and this. So that was the initial thing, which also led to me not getting a client, at least for the initial 4 months. So I was looking out on, mostly I worked on Google ads. That was my only source of getting clients. So that soon I realized that I cannot stick to one platform and I need to, use different platforms. So using LinkedIn, using social media, Instagram promotions, Facebook promotions, whatever.
Mm.
And also like putting blogs and getting my website, like trying to put some relevant content on my website. So that is how I tackled the problem of me not getting a client.
In terms of different platforms that you did use, which ones would you put at the top that are being useful for your industry, and then which ones would you not do if you went back in time?
So I would put on top actually just writing proper content on my website, because the big clients that I've got is through the inquiry from form on my website. And then I would probably say LinkedIn, because that was another second client which I got. But I would not, maybe not again try, not for a while, try Google ads, because I did pay a lot for a month and I did get a few clicks, but I couldn't convert, like I did not get a single call. So, or maybe it is because I didn't know how to use the tool properly using the keywords. I did try to learn, on the go and try to put in as much as I can, but that is something that I would put off for now and not use it.
All right, and some of the projects that you have got then, you mentioned LinkedIn and some of the content that you've done. Tell me about some of the projects that you've enjoyed doing, that you've been able to get stuck in with.
Yeah, so one of the projects was just doing floor plans for a client. And I got this client through LinkedIn. So he wanted some floor plans to be done, also designing to be done, and a technical floor plan so that he could get it passed from his landlord and the council. So that is what I did. And he was happy with the first set of drawings that I gave him, that within a month's time, he came back to me saying that he wanted further more technical drawings. So I think that was something that went in the right direction. The second thing was the big project which I got from on my website through the inquiry form is a cafe interior, which is almost 98% done, I would say, and is just on hold, like final touches left. But yeah, so that is the big project that I recently finished. And right now I'm in that place where I am looking at how can I get more clients. But like Tanny said, even she's suffering in getting more clients at this point. And, because yoga is something one-to-one. And I just feel even interior design or something, I can design it for you here. I can put up videos there. I can do DIYs, but some things need to be done on site. And yeah, like not everyone would want to do it themselves. That's why people hire interior designers.
Mm.
So yeah, that is.
I mean, I know this is kind of like on the spot. I mean, if you had to describe your ideal client, then the type of person that you would want to work with, or the type of industries, who would you say that is? I mean, as a group, we're going to be sharing this video, this recording to other people, and you just don't know who's going to be listening. And so, if you had to describe your ideal client, who would that be?
So my ideal client would be anyone who owns a property or anyone who has the right to make changes in the property and also has funds. Also, someone who is willing to change the space, like change the interiors of their space, and that could be either cafes, offices, residences, salon, anything. Like that is something that would be my ideal client. And
Rupinder,
said, yeah.
this is also a question on Nuni. that why would someone hire you to do their design instead of doing it themselves? So that would be a better, like, you should touch that angle, that yeah, if you are providing these services, why should they come to you, you know?
Yeah, so like I just said a while ago, that even though people can do it themselves, looking at DIY videos and tutorials, that is on a small scale. But there are some people on a large scale. If you see interior design, it's not just designing and painting a wall and getting it done. It's about getting your orders on time, doing the budgeting. If you have a fixed budget, you need to fix all your interiors in that budget. So where can I spend more? Where can I get away with less? So that is something. Also, it is quite stressful to manage different contractors, different orders, and for everything to be on site at the time, go according to your schedule. So I think that's the reason someone would hire an interior designer, to not worry about that, because you're obviously spending on your interiors. Even if you're doing it yourself, at least one thing you would want is that you be a little stress free. So if you're anyway spending, spend on an interior designer where you will be stress free, and the designer can do all the back end work for you.
Thank you for that. In around about, I'm going to open up the floor to questions to everyone else. But whilst they're thinking of the questions to ask you, do basically just unmute yourself so I know that you want to come in. But in terms of our vision as co-workers, it is about supporting each other, where we're sharing knowledge to understand deeper, building those relationships, and through that way, just like as a city centre works, you're able to be more visible to more interesting projects, to more interesting clients as well, and we can do this as a community, and so that's what we're all about. So I'm going to ask everyone else that's in the chat, have you got any questions? I'm having a look to see if there's anything that's come through. I know there was something on uni. Okay, I can't see anything. Tazir?
Yeah, Rupinder was saying that she came into this business, she started with 0 clients.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you had experience before. Like, did you try to get something on the back of that? Because you worked in a design agency before, isn't it?
Yeah, I did. But the thing is, I worked in India. So I'm an Indian and I'm here on a startup visa. So I had to start from scratch, from marketing, trying to get clients. And so even if I would have done this back in India, it would have been probably an easier route, because I did have contacts. But then I really wanted to work in the UK after doing my master's here. So that's why I came back here on a startup visa. And so it was difficult to get the clients.
Rupinder, just a question for myself. I mean, today's theme has been about, if COVID-19 wasn't to go away, how would the industry look? So I'm going to throw that at yourself. I'll give you a couple of seconds to have a think, because it's massively on the spot. But, a lot of times you mentioned that you want to work with clients such as restaurants, they will be lifting their sort of deadlock. But if it's the case at the moment that you're not able to meet them, or interior designers as an industry, how would that reform if COVID-19 was to stick around?
I'll add something to it. So your question, we can extend it to what are other interior designers doing at the moment. That is where I would start. And then if the things are changing, what will happen if things never go back to normal, like Harmeet is saying? So yeah, talk about both of them.
Yeah, so if things don't go back to normal, that is something I'm actually afraid of, to think in that direction, because I don't know how my business will sustain like that. Because if I've narrowed it down to cafes and offices, but if people aren't going to cafeterias, if people aren't going to offices, nobody would want to spend to design those spaces. And that leads me to the residential owners, which I also do design. But the residential designing part is that it takes a little longer time than designing for a cafe or office, because cafe and offices have got deadlines. So you can get the work done in that time. But residential owners usually take a long time, depending on their budget, depending on the time they have. So that is something that I still need to think, that how would my business transition if this all is if this is permanent. And secondly, I've seen a few other designers which right now they have clients from the clients that they had before. So they are just continuing with video calls with them, just finalizing, ordering things online and delivering it to their address. But apart from that, the contractors aren't working at the moment, so I don't see much work on site being done, because some work you can paint a wall, you can cut basic things if you've got basic carpentry tools, but to a certain extent you can only do that. But apart from that, you do need contractors to come on site and get work done. So yeah, that is a little uh, strange part of, I don't know how it'll go ahead if this continues.
I definitely agree with yourself there in terms of focusing on the sort of on the home for personal. More people are spending time at home. If it's mental health, is there sort of designs? Design's a really important factor just to uplift the spirit, or depending on which room that you spend most of your time, to have a certain type of ambience. And I do know people as well where they're looking to replace items because they've had COVID-19, and in terms of the germs that are around, do they need to change replace items? So I'd agree with yourself. I'm just having a final check on the chat to see if there's any further questions. If not, we've got something from Mokhtar. What have you been doing the lockdown to prepare for things? Yeah, so what have you been doing since the lockdown to prepare?
So I've been, did you ask me?
Yes, yeah, to yourself.
Yeah. So I've been looking at email marketing and how I can market myself, with the hope that this is going to come to an end on some day. And then right after that, people will want to increase their sales. So, how I can like amp up their spaces. So I'm also like putting out marketing things, like there is a lot of interior work that can be done in the back end and which does not need to be immediately started on site. That is like design proposals, finalizing items that need to be purchased, finalizing on a budget and a quote. So that is something that I'm working on, preparing templates. So and sending like trying to get customers and clients who need to do that. So once that's done, then after this COVID thing is over, we can directly start work on site. So that is
Thank
what
you
I'm
for that.
trying to work on. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm just going to summarize on a couple of the thoughts that we've had so far. And actually, this might be a nice little idea. I mean, so I've seen that Lila's put in terms of interior design for the home office. We've had something from Andy as well, where we're taking fake photos. Now, in terms of background, right? We're looking at branding. There's a lot of business meetings still happening, where can you brand your business depending on the background of your, the backdrop of your bedroom or wherever you are. So, it might not be the whole house. It might just be one wall to reflect your brand. Josh was done a really good job with his. He's obviously put some thought on. He does quite a few videos, but again, that might be an area. And I know some businesses might think that's a good investment to reflect their brand and what they're about, especially as they're spending a lot more time over the video. Because of the time, I think we'll end there, and we'll have another catch up next Wednesday at 2 p.m. We'll send out the links again. We'll have another interview to hear a little bit more about an individual and their business and their background, and we'll catch up then. So thanks, guys, and we'll speak soon.
Bye. Thanks, guys. It's great.